All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings from Dublin, Ireland. It is a very gray and cloudy day here, which is all the better for us to stay inside and practice some painting and drawing from the convenience of our homes. I see a couple of us are still connecting devices. That's no problem at all. Laura, how are you? Good to see you. Wonderful. Susan, you too.
Yeah.
Great to have you back so soon. Candy, it's been a while.
Hi.
Judith, hey there. Right on. Carol, Yvette, Wendy. Great to have you all here. So welcome to the practice hour. You all have been here before. You know what we're about to do. I hope you all have brought your art supplies, whether they're pastels, colored pencils, watercolors, etc., ready to practice. Um, Real quick before we start, I want to just go over a couple things and share with you a couple things. Um, as always, let's get Diane in here. As always, this series is brought to you in collaboration with my beloved Leo Marchutz School of Painting and Drawing. They are located in Aix-en-Provence, France, but they do plenty of events and programs and activities in the US as well. They are with whom I've done all of my art education and training. Um, and they offer great in-person online programs throughout the year for you to deepen your art practice and art appreciation. So in the chat, I've just dropped a link for their programs and workshops. Click on the link, open up the window, minimize it. You can check it out after the practice hour, but just have it on your computer and see what they're doing. They're going to New York. They'll probably be in DC next year. They're always doing things over the summer in France. And I am doing an online class with them to kick off the new year in 2025. So just some things to keep an eye out for. Um, I am also going to put real quick just my website, site and in dot site. There are resources for you there, so click on that link as well. You can open that up and minimize that window as well. And whether you want to, stay in touch with this series, you probably already get my practice memos, but there are other resources there for you to check out as well. We'll talk more about, the practice hour series maybe towards the end of this, but I want to get you all right into the image so that we can start practicing. Hey, Panam, been a while. Good to have you here. All right. Sharing my screen. Let's get this image up for you all to begin working on. So,
Oh,
oh, yeah. Cezanne portraits. I recently um, wrapped up another season with the Smithsonian. Lovely to have that group, and some of those students are here with me in this practice session right now. Um, During my time in between seasons is when I get to play and I get to, do fun art stuff on my own. So one of the things I did last week is I signed up just for like a regular figure drawing um session. It's not a class, no one's teaching anything, but um you can probably imagine a group of artists get together, a model is hired, they go through several poses, and we get to draw them throughout the evening. A great session, lots of practice, but it made me, it reminded me that figures and portraits are a subject matter that I maybe neglect a little bit, even though I do have a fascination for them. I do want to get better at them. I don't practice them as much as I practice skyscapes or urban street scenes. Um, so yeah, I thought, you know, I jumped in feet first with this figure drawing class last week, and it went great. Met some nice people, but I think I'd like some more practice with that. So I didn't want to go full figure. I was looking through my images to choose from, and I stumbled upon this, and I thought it would be a fun thing to work from. So before I get into, feel free to get started, all of you. Feel free to get started drawing, painting, crayoning, pasteling, whatever. Um, I will switch to my desk in just a moment. I want to go over just a few workshop guidelines and reminders, and then I will start drawing with you all. Um, so this is a practice session. This is an opportunity for artists to get practice. This is not a class. I don't have a planned lesson. All right. When working from a masterwork like this, the goal is not to make a forgery, but to have your own experience with the masterwork and practice putting it together according to whatever key relationships and essential elements you see. Make your own parallel image with your own unique individual touch. All right. It can still be an opportunity to learn. I will be sharing insights about my process as the session unfolds. If watching my work will be beneficial to you this session, I recommend switching your Zoom meeting to side-by-side speaker view. Okay. This is particularly for those of us who are zooming in on a computer, not a tablet. If you switch to side-by-side speaker view, you can move your cursor, your mouse, from the reference image to the right, and there a vertical bar will appear that you can click and drag to make soon my desk, 50-50 on your screen or whatever size you like on your screen next to the reference image. Feel free to ask me questions. All right. However, if you don't have something you would like to say, please remain muted to eliminate any distracting background noise. And likewise, if you're in the zone, you just want to practice, if you got music playing at your home, you just want to, have your creative space this Sunday afternoon in the company of others, feel free to mute me. That's totally fine. I don't take it personally at all. Finally, a special thank you to our returning participants who regularly contribute. We are happy to offer this monthly online practice hour at no cost to our community. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation to support the mission of the Leo Marchutz School of Painting and Drawing. Donations can be made at the link that I am dropping in the chat right now. So if you'd like to contribute, take a moment, click on that link, and it'll direct you to how you can do that. All right. That's enough for announcements on my end. Let me switch to my desk. Voila. Okay. All right. Um, so like I was talking about this image, and I can full screen this now. Make it a touch smaller on my screen. There we go. So yeah, I want to have some more practice with figures and portraits, people, humans. So I thought this would be good. I am feeling a little slower than usual, so I don't have the watercolors out today. Um, I have this sort of strange fascination with colored pencils and watercolor pencils and how to use them. But frankly, today I don't even have quite the energy for that. So I'm just going to stick to good old graphite on paper. Um, these are just some bits and bobs, as the Irish would say, from my drawing kit. So I got the measly end of a graphite stick and a couple half pencils that I'd like to use. I am all about using things until they are worn into the ground. So I've sort of chosen these individual pencils to be sentenced to continuous work and drawing until they are no more. So these will be my weapons of choice today. I've got, let's see, an HB pencil for really light marks, a 4B pencil, and then a 9B graphite stick, sort of the end of a graphite stick. So that's what I'll be using. Um, let's see. Now, if you are working in color, some interesting things to consider now that I'm looking at it. Something that I'm personally interested in. So you don't have to, adopt this into your practice today at all. But I do think about color harmony a lot when I go into working on something in color. I usually like to identify a principal harmony, sort of like the key that the image is in. If you think of like, music being in the key of E minor or something like that. I find images are usually in the key of a specific harmony. And generally there's a principal harmony and then there's like a secondary harmony. Um, so you could say blue-orange could be a principal harmony for this. And then maybe red-green could be sort of a secondary, subsidiary harmony, however you want to call it. Like I said, I don't have them today with me. I would have to search for them in my bag, which is in the other room. But I do think about getting into, colored pencils and um, yeah, just trying to make a whole image out of just those colors that I see in the harmony. So just blue, just orange, just red, just green. Um, yeah, that's sort of how I would wrap my mind around a color palette or a color strategy for an image like this and see how far you get. Anyways, for me, it'll be just good old pencil drawing, nothing crazy. And I'm actually going to start. I have my HB pencil right here. I'm using it because it makes um, the lightest marks. And actually, no, I'm going to start with the darkest one, which I know is not usually what I do when I draw, but I feel like just kind of playing around. I just want to block in some of the major shadows and areas of light that I see. So I start in the shoulder. I just see that light area where the collar is at the bottom. I'll leave that untouched for now. Let's see, his neck, right back of the hair. Now, what I like about using this 9B pencil is that I don't really have to press very hard to get marks out of it. I can just sort of brush it the way that I want to along my paper and it makes a mark pretty well. Um, so I'm not worrying about the features of the face or anything like that right now. I'm just trying to sort of feel my way around the image, get some of the major elements that I see. I'm up in the hair now. What I also like about these graphite sticks is because there's so much, this is when I turn it sideways and I use sort of the shoulder or this entire edge to make my marks, there's so much graphite to be used. So I cover ground really quickly. Um, I can cover my paper really quickly. All right, so lightest areas, let's look for them now. I've kind of done a once over, a rough idea of the shape of the head. Where some things go, nothing is placed perfectly. I'll worry about that later. I definitely want to preserve some of the lights, so I'm taking this little eraser and just picking out some of the lightest areas. So I definitely want to preserve that corner of the collar right there, beneath the ear. That upper end of the collar is rather light to me, so I want to save that. And then also I save the light on the forehead. There's a little bit in the neck too. Maybe I can get a little bit of that. All right. Now up here, looks like I missed a spot. All right. I want to keep going with this. This is doing a lot of the work for me, this graphite stick. So let me do another lap around the figure. Okay. Interesting beard situation we've got going on here. So I'll make some slightly darker marks just to get where I see that. I'm starting to pick out the beard a little bit. Let me let's see. Ear here. Cool. Just some of the darker areas of the hair. So this back corner. All right, I'm at this gentleman's hairline now towards the top. So now that I'm slowly starting to solidify where things go, I'm noticing some things like, for example, the top of his ear is a bit higher than I originally placed it. So let me use my eraser, bring out a little bit more of where that ear is going to go. All right. And then the eyes in relation to it. I'm not going to try and get them perfect right now. I'm just going to block in some shadows, sort of where I see that they go. Okay. So if I have this droopy bit of hair right here, and then there's an eyebrow. Yeah, there's the eyebrow that sort of starts up here. I can go in a little bit for the eye, and then shade some of this to let his nose come down. And actually, some of these areas here, I'll zoom in for you all. if you're watching. There we go. So I will, um, so let me, again, using my eraser as another mark making tool, not necessarily to undo mistakes, but just to bring back some light in certain areas. Yeah, some light on his nose that I want to bring back. Mustache, we'll get to you a little bit later. I can do a little bit now, but I want to get this other eye placed. So, looking at the two eyes, all right, the one on the left in the center of the face, a little bit higher, all right. So, and I'm also going to look at it, I'm noticing things like this eyebrow roughly the same latitude as the bottom of this droopy bit of hair right over here. So that's something I'm always looking for just ways to draw relationships, spatial relationships, um, when really I'm doing anything, but especially in trying to figure out the face. I'm not really big on the whole, um, the eyes are always halfway between the top of the head and the bottom of the head. Um, and then, between the eyes and the chin is halfway there is, the bottom of the nose. I don't really like those formulaic approaches. Also, Cezanne, post-impressionist, he's clearly distorting this guy's head a little bit. Um, so I just like to go by what I see and place it, and rely on my vision as opposed to any formulas. Okay. All right, so slowly this man is beginning to emerge. I'm going to give the graphite stick a break, and I actually want to start light now and maybe go from being so general to being a little more specific with some things. So I'll take my HB and let's start just picking out some things that I see. Okay, definitely making some of these things too dark, but that's okay. So I'm just trying to slow down my drawing a little bit. I've got like a general structure to build on, and I am just, um, yeah, trying to, develop some of the little nuances and all the different values that I see. Something I heard this week related to art that I really like is someone wrote, I don't know who originally said this, but it's kind of a genius quote. But apparently, it's common for art teachers to remark, value does all the work, color gets all the credit. And I think to a degree, I knew that already. I mean, I definitely believe that if you are someone who wants to get into painting, doing your fair share of practice in drawing is going to make your painting take off because you will see greater nuance in value and you won't just rely on different hues to differentiate things. Relationships and value are really important. But yeah, I never heard it put quite so, I don't know, just as well as that. Value does all the work, color gets all the credit. Okay, so I'm still working through some light midtones here. Um, Up in the hair. I need to figure out how I'm going to. Oh, no, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the hair, actually. I could use one, a little bit more. His hair goes higher up than I originally drew. Let's see, this can be a little more shaded in. So can this. Now, it's so tempting to just jump to the darkest darks because I know that's what's going to shape this. Um, I'm going to resist that just a little bit because there's a different texture I get from the graphite stick to the pencil. Um, they make slightly different marks. The graphite stick picks up a texture, it's almost like a rubbing that you do with crayon. And right now I want to use something that's a little bit more solid to make my mark. So I'm going to go to my 4B pencil now and see if I can pick out a couple of things. Let's see. All right. Again, finding myself having to raise the ear when I see where it sits, excuse me, in relation to that eyebrow. Yeah, it's a little higher up than I originally had it. And I want to get all of these nice, beautiful darks that surround the top of it. Okay, sort of like that. Okay, I can slowly tell that I'm starting to get to some of my darker strokes. I'm articulating the beard right now. And for this mouth, there's not a lot to it. Um, it's not me saying that it's easy. I'm just saying there's not all that much to grasp onto. So I'm just shaping the light as best as I can with my eraser and trusting that if I stick to the moments of light and dark, hopefully the mouth will emerge. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna fuss with it too much. Sometimes you gotta let these things sit. Get some strokes down, move somewhere else in the image, and then come back to it when you could see it with fresh eyes. So I'm gonna do exercise a little bit of that, maybe just one stroke here to I want to get face. Right, if I'm darkening all that stuff, let me get this far cheek a little bit darker too. All right, to speed things up a little bit, I'm going back to my uh, graphite stick. All right, slowly getting there. I'm going to remove this light actually just for a moment so I can see things a little bit more clearly. Just a little bit too much glare sometimes when I have to use these desk lamps, and it sort of switches up how I see some of the values. Bring this light back. All right, friends, we're coming up on the home stretch, maybe like 10 more minutes on this image together, and then we'll take a group photo of all of our work. I am coming down to trying to figure out how am I going to articulate some of the features, okay? So generally the generally the head is pretty assembled, but there are certain features that could use a little bit more articulating. The ear I'm working on right now, I think that will be largely okay, though I want to push these darks, the hair that is visible just behind the ear, the way it sits so dark right up against the edge of the earlobe. I want to have that happening for sure. That's going to help articulate my ear on this fella. All right. Okay. Maybe a little bit more in the hairline. All right. So back to these lips and this eye over here. How can I do this? Hmm. All right, so I'm saving some of my darkest darks to get this pupil over here. Again, I'm not trying to make anything look like an eye. I'm just going by the shapes that I see. Okay, now let's move to the other eye. right, maybe I have to stop fussing with it. Um, that may be as far as I can take it. Don't really want to touch it too much more. Um, let's see. All right, and with a couple minutes we've got left, how am I going to do the lips? Let's see. I want to preserve there's that little sort of upside down trapezoid of light that I want to preserve, light red that I want to preserve. Maybe the shadow to the right of it I could use to articulate the upper lip. Not bad. All right, everyone. How about 2 more minutes left on this image, and then let's see what we've got. Um, Remember, Rose will send out a follow-up email that will contain the group image as well as the recording to this session if you'd like to keep working on it. You can also find this image on Wikipedia quite easily. It is in the public domain. It is the portrait of Victor Choquet. But if you just look up Paul Cézanne, and you'll find a section with images of his portraits and figures, and this one is definitely there if you'd like to keep working on it. Um, but before we wrap up, I know portraits can be really difficult. Um, Maybe not everyone's cup of tea or some other artists' absolute preferred cup of tea. I am definitely curious about it, and um, personally, I'd love to get to a place. I feel like, you know, I could paint. I've done so many sunsets and skyscapes that I could paint them, um, just as well from imagination as I could looking at one. And I know the way, clouds look in the sky and the way the blue sky looks around the clouds and how it's darker closest to the clouds and how underneath the clouds, usually I want to get some like warm violet shadow on the underside. I don't know. There's just a lot of I've done that motif so many times that I understand the way a sky looks above a landscape. And I'd love to get that familiarity with faces, frankly, understanding the cheekbones. Um, yeah, lips, my goodness, lips are so hard. I find lips harder than eyes sometimes. But yeah, just getting sort of this familiarity with all the different shapes of the face, how, eye sockets meet the bridges of the nose, how nostrils appear underneath the nose, all sorts of things. I want to become familiar with it. And even though this is a painting, um, it's good to learn from how other artists put their portraits together, to, yeah, gain a little something ourselves. All right, everyone. Judith is ready to snap a photo, I see. So how about we take just a couple more seconds, wrap up the part of the image that you are working on. let me put my desk cam directly over this so that you all can see. And then in just a moment, I am going to take the image away and we can take a group photo that I will send to Rose that you all will receive so that you can see what everyone has been up to in this session. All right. All right. So let me take the image away. And if you could, you know, turn on your camera, hold up what you've been working on. I'll switch to gallery view. We can take a photo real quick. Wonderful. All right. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Susan Thomas. Beautiful. Uh, Great to see you there, Carol. Yeah, hold these up. Oh, so many of you are drawing. Wow. All right. Keep those images up. Fantastic. So many of you have decided to draw. Beautiful work, Carol. I love your mark making there. That is wonderful. I'm going to take just one more, everyone, so keep the images up. But yeah, really surprised to see how many of you chose to draw this image. All right. Beautiful work, everyone. It's been a pleasure practicing with you all. I hope you all have feel, a little fulfilled, feel maybe like you've not just accomplished something today, but done something for you, and maybe you've absolved yourself from a little bit of guilt for not practicing. Maybe if you've been kicking that can down the road for a few weeks. Yeah, Judith is nodding her head. I think Panam is a little bit too. It's okay. Life gets in the way, and that's why we're here to build in some dedicated practice time for you all every month. Um, it yeah, it's been a joy. It's been a pleasure. The next one will be October 13th. Okay. Um, please check out some of the links in the chat. If you haven't already, sign up for the practice memos on my website. I will be sending one out next weekend, which will contain the registration link for October's practice hour. So, October 13th, same time, we'll do this again. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you, Nick.
you.
This
Yeah.
was a lot of
Great
fun.
to see you all.
Good to see
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
All right, everyone. It's dinner time, and then I'm
Happy autumn.
yeah. Adios. Hasta luego. Till next time. A la
Ciao.
prochaine. A bientôt. Take care, everyone.